How you guys feeling? A day and a half in. Do I need to give you a little Tony Robbins, make you jump up and down a little bit? Change your state? All right. I do have a bit of an announcement when it comes to the party, okay? When we're done here, you're going to get rides over to our home. Once you're at our home, you won't get rides to your home. So you'll have to figure out Uber or Lyft or something from there back to your hotel or whatever. Because everybody's going at different times, different places. It's too difficult to try and organize, okay? Borrow the jet. There might be a little overkill. Go from there to... Sometime we should do where everybody can come over. We'll do a session over in the hangar with the jet or something. That'd be fun. Be a good time. We just did a mastermind event for the top of the people in our next level mastermind. How many are familiar with our next level mastermind? You know what it is? It's for people making $250,000 a year or more. And how many people are making more than that now here in the room? More than 250. All right. All of you, if you're not in the mastermind, you should consider it. If it doesn't pay for itself almost immediately, you're not paying attention to what's happening in it. We get together 3 times a year and then once a month in person, and then once a month we get together online. And that group is so powerful. The average earnings in the group is maybe $900,000 a year, something like that, just shy of $1 million. Top earner there is probably $9 million a year. Lots of 2s, 3s, and 4s. But it's the sharing of ideas. If you're highly ambitious and you want a shortcut, get in that kind of a room. So if you have an interest for that, what I will tell you is, and we said this during the GoPro event, to shoot me a DM if you're in this group. On Instagram, shoot me a DM, and I want to follow you back. I don't follow 1 million people, but I want to follow back the people who are committed here inside of this group. And at that time, there was so many DMs that it was impossible to figure out who was who, because everybody was like sending me a DM. So now that you're here in this room, shoot me a DM on Instagram. Just say, hey, I'm in the certification program, so I can follow you back. And then for those of you who are making 250, if you have an interest and you'd like to set up a call, talk about it, see if it might be a fit for you, I'd love to have you in that group. But anyway, we had kind of the biggest, the people who brought the most people to GoPro out of that mastermind. We invited them to Cabo. So they came to Vegas. We got on the jet. We flew down to Cabo. The jet seats 18 people, so it was fun. We flew down to Cabo. We rented this big beachfront mansion, and we hung out for 4 days and flew back. So we do fun stuff. And if you're not qualified yet, I want you to use the certification in order to be able to get qualified, to be eligible to be in that. You do have to be at 250 plus in order to be eligible to do it. That's kind of the minimum. And even at 250, you need to be hungry. It's a big boy, big girl room, hanging out with those folks. So here's what I would tell you. Couple cheat codes. And it's not part of this course, but coaches, mentors, and masterminds are a cheat code. They're a shortcut. They're a way for you to be able to get to a place faster with less stress, less drama, more comfort, more speed, right? So things like this, you can approach this certification a number of different ways. One is you're here. Hey, yeah, it's like, okay, I want to do this. I'm here. And that's great. Wonderful. Fantastic. I'm glad you're here. I want you to use this in order to be able to grow your business. 2, as a tool to find out who's serious on your team. And equip them so they can go faster. You know, imagine every single person on your team that's ever joined your team was sitting in this room with you for yesterday and today. Every single one. Would your team be farther ahead? Yeah, likely, right? And this is just 2 of 6. 2 of 6, plus the mentoring that's happening on a weekly basis, plus, all these different things. So what I would do, I had to go find these mentors. I had to have these virtual mentors. There was never anything specific to network marketing, you know, outside of what was provided inside my company. And honestly, I learned what I could learn from my company. You know, I learned, I attended, I listened, I paid attention, I took all the notes, I learned. But then there's some things to learn that were not necessarily commonly delivered inside of my company. So 1, you're in the right room. Congratulations. 2, use this as a sorting tool to figure out who's serious, who's committed, who's willing, coachable, and hungry, really wants to make this thing happen, and help them make it happen so they get into certification. Whether they're here live or not doesn't really matter. What matters is that they go through the information, they get certified, and they have more confidence out in the marketplace. I truly believe that whoever in this certification gets the most people from their team into this certification is going to have a wildly unfair advantage over people who don't. It's just, you're going to leave here speaking a different language. You're going to leave here thinking different thoughts than your team thinks, and trying to go home and infect them with all of your positive thinking is sometimes a lift. It's a heavy challenge versus they experience it, because third party works here too. You know what's crazy? Most of your team can't hear what they need to do from you. They can hear it from me, but they can't hear it from you. So let me assist you. What I want them to have over and over and over is like, oh my gosh, my upline's been telling me this forever. All right, I'm going to do it now. You know, that's what happens all the time. And then we have the mastermind group. Mastermind group is 250,000 plus. If you're 250,000 plus and you have other 250s, the cheat code, twofold. Anybody under 250 in here, that's serious. Anybody over 250, get them in there, because that room will change their state. It'll change their mindset. It'll change their strategy. It'll change all different types of things. And then there's another thing I'll share with you. And none of you are probably eligible for this, but I'll share it for you anyway, because it's something I'm doing. It's a new project. And that is the Next Level Mastermind 8-figure edition. So, and I share this just because I want to change your thinking. As far as I know, I don't believe that there's anybody that's made $1 million a month and sustained $1 million a month that doesn't have some sort of special deal, or they're an owner, or they're some master distributor with an override on the company or something, just from the normal compensation plan. Made and sustained $1 million a month. When I first got started in network marketing, guess what was the magical number? 100,000, man. Oh my gosh. Be a 6-figure earner. Because back then, I just saw a meme over the last 24 hours. 6 figures back then is like 350,000 now. When it comes to buying power, when it comes to inflation, everything else, you have to be making 350,000 to make what was 100,000 back then. Right now, 100,000, you're kind of broke. You know, you don't have much room after you pay taxes and do all the stuff. I mean, you're paycheck to paycheck probably at 100,000, unless you're highly disciplined, right? So, and that's 6 figures. That used to be the Holy Grail. Now it's survival. Interesting. Then, so that became common. That was everywhere. 6 figures everywhere. Blah, blah, blah. Everybody's making 6 figures. And then I had this goal. I want to make $7 million a year. $83,333 a month. You know, I had it all mapped out. But that million a year, I wanted 2 commas in my tax return, you know, in my 1099. Not 1 comma. Everybody has 1 comma. I wanted 2 commas in my income from network marketing. And I was able to get that by the time I was 30 years old. And 2 commas is much better than 1, I will tell you. And you can start to have a different life, and you can start to have different choices. Imagine $100,000 shows up in your bank account this month. The company made a mistake. They said, you know what? It's our mistake. Keep it. What would you do? What would you do with that 100 grand? They said you can keep it. It's fine. What would you do with it? Reinvest in what? Anything else you would do with it outside of reinvesting? Huh? You'd educate yourself? Trading, investing. What else? Help others. Who would you help? People who need help with their nutrition. Well, let me just tell you, they're a tough group to help. Because I'm one of them. They're tough. They're very, very disciplined until food shows up, and then their brain leaves their body. What else would you do? Would you buy? How many would buy a car? Anybody buy a car? 100,000 shows up. Anybody pay off debt? Anybody get rid? Pay off some credit cards, right? Maybe pay down the mortgage. Take care of, get some gifts. You probably you got to do something fun. 100,000. Go get a purse. Yeah, send 3 people next. Get some shoes. You got to go get some shoes, at least 1 pair from 100 grand. Red bottom. Okay, yeah, fine. So, all right, now next month comes. They send it to you again. Now who am I going to help? Now what am I going to do? And then they send it to you again, and then again, and then again. And I got to experience that. I felt like I won the lottery. Every time a 6-figure check showed up, oh my gosh. Any of you ever experienced a 6-figure check in network marketing? Anybody in a month? A few of you? You know what it's like? It's like that first time, finally, 6 figures in a month. And then a big part of your life is how long can I keep this going? How long can I make sure that this continues to show up, right? So 7 figures became a goal for me, and it became a reality for me. Then that started to become normal in the last 15 years or so. There's a lot of 7-figure earners out there. I don't know exactly how many, but I'd guess 1,500 to 2,000, something like that. That would be my guess. Making 7 figures a year. So I have this little secret project inside of the Next Level Mastermind for people who have the ambition to have a new 4-minute mile. And the new 4-minute mile is $1 million a month. So it's a small group. It's like 20 people. You got to be either like a rocket ship at $1 million. You've got to be ambitious at $2 million. You've got to be strong at $3 million, something like that, to even be considered. But I want you to think about the architecture necessary to make $1 million a month in your company. How many lines would you need to have? How much volume would you need to produce? How many 6-figure earners would need to be there? How many countries would you need to be involved in? What would your systems need to look like? What would your culture need to be? It's a different conversation. If your intention was to make $1 million a month, would you recruit different? Would you think different? Would you act different? Would your systems be different? So that's a new project that I'm working on is for the super serious. So I just want you to know there's levels to this stuff, right? You're here. Welcome. Welcome to the ride of a lifetime. Okay? Now, next level, Can you get some other people to join you in this process to be able to help scale your growth? And then let's use that to get as many talented and certified people in your team in order to be able for you to be in a next level mastermind and get in that room. And then once you're there and we get you to that $1 million a year plus, and we can have the conversation to just give yourself permission to start to architect what $1 million a month would look like. Okay? Think about what that would mean. Because a lot of people, here's what I know, get comfortable. Ton of people get comfortable at $1 million a year. Even that takes care of most of them. Most of them just want to keep what they got. And then there's another group of people that are, they make 2 million, then some of them start to shut down. 3 million, some of them start to shut down. You know what I mean? It takes a special person that's just so hungry for the next step to be able to say, all right. So I've had conversations over the last 2 weeks, just like, hey, is this on your bingo card or not? You open for this conversation or not? Do you even want to? And some are like, nope, not for me. No problem. But most are like, this is a very interesting question. Like, what would that look like? Am I willing to do it again? Took me 30 years to get to my 6 million a year. Could I double that in the next 5? All right, let's talk about it. So anyway, think about anytime you can get coached, mentored, or be in a mastermind, it's like a time machine. You step in, you step out, and you're not any older, but you're smarter. You're not 5 years older, you're 5 years smarter, just by being around the right people. So that's why you're in the right place. That's why this is a smart thing for you to do. Okay? Got it? Good. So just for fun, let me ask you a question. And what I've learned is people can only usually see in their mind about double their best month ever. That's what they can usually dream about. They made 20,000 one month. They can dream 40. They can't dream 400, but they can dream about double. So how many of you can absolutely 100% see yourself at $250,000 or more in annual income per year? Per year. Okay. How many can see yourself? And I'm not judging you. I want you to answer honestly, okay? Can imagine $500,000 a year or more? Okay? How many can imagine $1 million a year or more? Really? Truly? No kidding. And how many can imagine 2 million? 3 million? 4 million? 5 million? 6 million? Honestly, with integrity, you can see it, you can feel it? All right, good. Why did I go through that exercise? I wanted you to examine your belief systems of what's possible. Some of you are in survival mode. You're trying to survive this network marketing experience. Oh, please help me. Certify me, please. I need certification because I'm going to be certifiably insane if I don't figure this thing out at some point. Others of you are realizing there's levels. This is a game. And to go through a level, you got to beat the boss. And there's different kinds of bosses. You know what the biggest boss is? Comfort. Comfort. What is the number that makes you comfortable? That is your enemy. That's going to cause you to start playing small once you get that comfortable number. So for me, it wasn't about getting more for myself at a certain point. I'm not here because I need the money. I'm not here doing this certification because, we got to pay the bills. I'm here doing the certification because contribution became my fuel. Empowering the people who are going to go out and empower the world, that became our fuel. See what I mean? So if some of you are like, well, I feel selfish for me to want more for myself, your check is just a scorecard for how many people you're helping. That's all it is. You can give it away if it makes you uncomfortable. You can donate it to somebody else if it makes you feel weird. See what I mean? But don't be ashamed of the scorecard, your check. Don't be ashamed of the scorecard showing how many people you are helping and serving. Because the moment you start being ashamed of that is the moment comfort's going to kick in, and the moment you're going to go into a success coma, and the moment you stop bringing value to the world. So all of that was unplanned, but anyway, hopefully you got some value from it. And on any of these things, if you need help getting your team into certification, DM me. Myself or one of my team, I'll help you. Take the people who are serious, put them on a Zoom, let's have a conversation with them. Let's see if we can't get them in here, right? Before we do the next certification course, plus they get caught up with this one. If you or other people have people that should be in Next Level Mastermind or want to explore it, DM me and we'll have a conversation. 250 plus. Happy to be able to do that. Okay, we're friends now. We're buddies, so we'll make all this happen. Deal? All right, here we go. I got to clean these glasses before. My wife doesn't know how I see through my glasses, but what I tell her, she doesn't wear the glasses. It's so hard not to smudge them. My glass owners, are we on the same page? It's hard not to smudge the glasses. Come on. Okay. We talked about you know what we did? Sandy, did I miss section 1? Huh? The self-evaluation? Huh? You don't think I need to do it? All right, good. You do your reflection and awareness on yourself. You do your self-evaluation on yourself. All right, so pre-certification, foundational success principles, finding prospects, connecting with prospects, all business being conversation. Now we're going to get into inviting, okay? So, on inviting, ready? 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, so we've talked about all business being conversation. We talked about keeping that conversation going. Now, what do we do? How do we get to an invitation? At some point, we want to educate these people to the point they understand what we have. The best way to do that is to invite those people to learn more. And specifically in Recruiting Mastery, we're going to be inviting them to learn more about our business opportunity. Learn more about our company. Learn more about the income opportunity that might be available. Learn more about how to scale and grow a business. Learn more about entrepreneurship. So, assuming you're in 100 conversations, at some point there's going to be either they will open the door to a transition to your opportunity, or you can open the door. We'll talk about both. How do they open the door? You'll know. Sometimes it's, so what are you doing for work? You can ask them, what are they doing for work? And they can respond back, what are you doing? What are you up to? You can say, well, I've got my job, but let me tell you what I'm excited about. Then you can tell them your story. Story is the best way to open people up to making an invitation. So remember the 4 parts of the story: your background, what you didn't like, you found a solution, how you feel about the future. Your background, everybody has one. Things that you didn't like about it, that you found a solution, and how you feel about the future. You should be able to practice that story and tell that story in a couple minutes. I learned to tell that story in 60 seconds if I needed to. On a phone call, I could tell that story in 2-3 minutes if I'm sitting over coffee with somebody. I could tell that story in 15 minutes and really elaborate if we're hanging out over lunch. I could expand or contract based upon the situation. But learning how to tell that story is really, really important. So they open the door. They say, I hate my job. If they say they hate their job, there is a problem. Do you have a potential solution? I'm not saying it's the solution for sure. Do you have a potential solution for them? Yes. I need more money. They're talking about money. I'd love to take a vacation, but I can't. Or I can't get away from work, or I can't get away from this, or I need more flexibility. Anytime they bring up something that your opportunity can help them with, that's a chance for you to say, well, it's interesting that you say that. Because, right? The same thing's true with where they're from. Where are you living now? I'm in Tacoma, Washington. You're not going to believe this. I started a business here, but I'm expanding my business to Tacoma, Washington. Do you know anybody that's blank, 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 blank? So listen for clues. Have the conversation, listen for clues, and those clues should open a door for you to be able to, 1, tell your story, 2, make an invitation to some sort of third-party resource. Okay? Are those 2 things that you can learn to do? Right? Conversation, look for clues. If the clue shows up, tell your story, invite to some sort of third-party resource. Not only you, but everybody in your team should be able to do this. So, I'm not going to give you a million examples because people can open the door themselves 1,000 different ways. You should know. Just learn to put your antennas up and know. Oh, this is an opportunity for me to do what? To get them or to serve? To serve. That intention matters. If they feel like you're trying to get them, they're going to run away. If they feel like you're trying to serve, help them solve a problem, they're going to lean forward. So leaning back, if they feel like, oh, now I see why they've been so friendly, versus leaning forward saying, oh, I'm so glad we connected because they might have a solution for me, and I'm looking for a solution. Again, acting like a consultant, asking lots of questions. You don't want to interrogate people, but you do want to ask questions. Questions are the consultant's best tool. Has anybody ever worked professionally as a consultant? Can you be a consultant without asking questions? You can't do it. If you are, you're terrible. You're coming in and prescribing something without even knowing the facts. To be a consultant, you need to come in, find out what the challenges are, and from those challenges, then you have the opportunity to offer up some potential solutions. When I work with clients inside of network marketing, I come in with my biases, my predisposed things that have worked before, but I need to understand what's the culture here? What's important here? What's prioritized here? What are the blockers? What are the opportunities? What's the mindset? How's it working here? Because even if I'm here to swing the pendulum, guess what I learned to do when it comes to swinging the pendulum? If it's all the way over here, I can't take it here. I can take it here. And then I could take it here. And then I could take it here. And then I could take it here. Over time with large organizations, I mean, you just can't, okay, we're all doing this now. Huge mistake. As a consultant, then guess how I'm going to get from here to here? Ask a lot of questions, come up with some things, test some things, try some things. Let's try this, let's try that. Do we have buy-in from the corporate staff? Do we have buy-in from the top leaders? Can we reinforce this through various different programs? Okay, let's do it. Click, 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 click. You move that huge ship, that big cruise ship, one degree at a time. You don't move it 90 degrees in 5 seconds. It just doesn't work like that. So ask lots of questions when you're having conversations with people. The clues will show up. Now, you can open the door. If they don't open the door, you're having conversation back and forth, you're enjoying yourself, they don't open the door. Usually, if they haven't opened the door, you're probably not paying attention. They probably have, and you didn't catch it. So I'm going to give you some ways that I like to open the door, okay? One is, where do you live? Where are you living? And then what am I going to say after they say anything that they say, so long as the company's involved in that area? Oh my gosh, you're not going to believe this. I'm looking for a key person in that market. That market's slated as one of the next most important growth markets in the entire company. And we're trying to identify strong people that maybe are dissatisfied with what they're doing to help us with the expansion in that area. Yeah? Or two, this is absolutely one of my favorites. I love this one. Have you ever started your own business? I want to ask, out of the blue, let me just ask you a question. Have you ever started your own business? No matter what they say, I'm going to find an opportunity to educate them on what I have. No matter what. If they say, no, I haven't, why not? In today's entrepreneurial world, why not? Well, I just didn't have a good idea. Any other reasons? Well, it costs a lot of money. I couldn't risk my family. Why else? Well, I didn't know if I was good enough manager to be able to attract the right team and build what needed to be built. So I've just stayed where I am in my job in the meantime, but I always had in my mind, I'd like to. So if I just keep asking questions, why not, why not, why not, why not, why not, they're going to give me their answers, right? And those might have limiting beliefs in them and they might not, but in whatever that belief system is a belief they believe. So then I can say, what if those things were taken care of? What if there was a good idea? What if you didn't have to have a lot of money? What if you didn't have to have employees? What if you could learn as you go? What if you could do it part-time? What if there was a support system in order to be able to assist you in growing your business? Would you ever consider it then? Because I know we haven't talked about it, but I've got involved with something that I think is very, very powerful. And it will actually take people who want to become entrepreneurs and assist them in becoming entrepreneurs without all the traditional barriers. If I showed it to you, is it something that you'd be willing to explore? It might not be a fit. Might not be a fit for you. You might not be an entrepreneur because you don't want to be, and that's fine. But if you do want to be, and you've explored other options, I'm just telling you, or maybe you don't have time to explore options because you're busy doing other stuff, I'm just telling you there is something that will help you in order to be able to at least consider this. This could be a trial run at entrepreneurship. This could be an introduction to entrepreneurship. Yeah? Such an intelligent conversation. It's so cool. Now, you go and they say, have you ever started your own business? Yes. How's it going? Terrible. I'm out of business. Oh, man. What did you try? Oh, I opened a restaurant. Didn't work. Or I started this little side hustle and that didn't work. Or I did this, I did that. Why do you think it didn't work? Have you ever really looked back at it? I didn't have enough money. Pandemic hit. That made it difficult. Supply chain, expenses were too much. Employees were difficult to be able to try and kind of constantly keep good people. I was babysitting most of the time, honestly. I was the lowest paid person in my business from the first day I started until the last day I closed the doors. Everybody else got paid but me. Right? God, I'm sorry. But first of all, can I just say, I admire you for trying. I admire you for going out there and say, you know what, I'm going to try and do something on my own. Because that takes courage. That takes guts to be able to do something like that. So I admire that. How many of you have tried to start or have started your own business outside of network marketing? Raise your hands. Okay. You know how tough it is. You're all tough people based upon doing that. That is not easy stuff. So I'd compliment them and say, let me ask you a question. Here's what I learned about entrepreneurial people. Once you're an entrepreneur, you're kind of always one. You might be wounded in the short term, have to go back to that job, which I know you probably hated, have to go back to paying the bills, taking care of family, have to go back to, real life and getting your benefits covered and making sure your family's taken care of. I get it. I understand all that. But what I've seen with entrepreneurs is once they're an entrepreneur, they're always got that itch. They've got unfinished business scratching at the back of their brain. If the opportunity lines up, if lightning strikes again, they're probably going to go give it another shot. But based on what they learned, they got to make sure that they don't have the same risks because they don't want to put their family through it. Right? Is that you? Or are you done? Which one are you? Are you done with entrepreneurship? Done? Finito? You're taking the employee thing, that's what you're going to do? Or is there, at some point in the future, can it show up again? Oh, it could show up again. That's what I suspected. Well, let me ask you a question. If there was a situation where you didn't have to have the pain that you had with your entrepreneurial venture before, with those employees and the guarantees and the risk and the finances and the loss and the family sacrifice, all these various different things that were outside of your control, all of that stuff, something that could even survive through a COVID, something that could survive regardless of the economic situation around the world. If this fairy tale thing could actually exist, where there was a good product already taken care of, and you didn't have to do the one thing that I found crazy about entrepreneurship, how many jobs you have to do that you never wanted to do. You never wanted to be the accountant. You never wanted to be the attorney. You never wanted to be the landlord. You never wanted to be the babysitter and the HR person. You never wanted to be the market research person. And you never wanted to figure out all this stuff. Risk management, what the heck? Purchasing. Oh, who wants to do all that stuff? I wanted to make cookies. That's what I wanted to do, make cookies. That's, when can I get back to making cookies, right? But you had to do all that other stuff. But let me ask you a question. What if all that other stuff was done by somebody else? And you can come in without a big investment. And all you had to do was bring your marketing and sales and promotion muscle. That's the only muscle you needed, and build a team around that. Would you be interested in entrepreneurship again if that was the real situation? Because I have something that's built for you. If you're open. Okay? If I was talking to you and you were a business owner, the business went out of business, and I had that conversation, would you be open after that 5-minute conversation? Probably. At least to take the next step. You don't have to make a decision, but I can get you to meet somebody. I can get you to watch something. I can get you to join a Zoom. I can get you to try the product out that's making it real. I can get you involved in your due diligence. So that's no and yes, but the business failed. Here's the third answer that can happen with this. You ever started your own business? They say yes. How's it going? Meh. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Great, fine. Why just okay? Have you been in business in today's world as a small business owner? It is tough. Marketing, regulations, all these different issues. I'm fighting just to keep my business, not to grow my business. I'm trying to keep it. I'm trying to get my investment back. If somebody offered me a check today for how much I put into this business, I'd take it in 5 seconds. But right now, I don't own the business. The business owns me. I've got obligations. I've got leases. I've got guarantees in 1,000 directions. I've got bankers. I've got all kinds of stuff. I got to go finish this thing. All right. That tells me you're tough. It also tells me you're resourceful. What if you could carve out a little bit of time and I could show you a situation where you had the benefits of business ownership? You didn't have to walk away from that business, which is really a job, if you're honest. It's really a job that you can call yourself the owner, but it's really a job. It's paying the bills, right? And use your expertise to build something fresh, new, exciting, that's just pure cash flow over here with your influence while you maintain the business that you have. Is there ever a situation where you would explore something like that? Or are you just going to keep slogging it out over here? Well, I'd explore it. All right, let's go talk about it. Your influence, our support system, what we could do together might add up to something interesting. Or person says, yes, how's it going? My business is going great. Fantastic. Awesome, exciting. How many people here have a business outside of network marketing that's going great? Anybody? It's going great. Lovely, wonderful. How many locations you have? How many you have? So you just have the one location? Why? Well, because it's very difficult to duplicate. Yeah, it's very, very hard. Right? So if there's only one location, why only one location? The business is doing great. Oh, well, let's not get crazy. 3 of them means I got to get 3 managers. That means I got to get all kinds of other stuff. So there's a cap. There's only so much you're going to be able to do. You can scale that business, but you can't have 10 of them. Or you can't see yourself having 10 of them. Right? Or that might be too big a lift. Fair, fine. Somebody says, I got 3 locations. Wonderful. How many states are you in? Oh, just the one. Why not in other states? Oh, that's a lot more work. I'm in 3 states. Oh, great. How many countries are you in? Countries? What are you talking about? I've got this business in this state, in this city, and that's all I can eat. I can't even think about other countries. Why not other countries? Well, because of this and this and this. I don't know it. I don't know the language. I don't know the people. I don't know the regulations. I mean, I don't even know how that would work. How would my supply chains are all here? How? Well, it's based upon entrepreneurship. If entrepreneurship's about scale, if there was a business that you could build not only locally and have success like you have now, because if you're successful here, it tells me you could be successful anywhere. But you could have multiple in this city. You could have in all the cities around the country over time that you didn't have to go do. And I'm not talking about a franchise. That people could actually access. They access you. They learn from you to be able to go build in that market. But you get credit for it. You business owners, how many of your competitors did you train as a business owner? You hired them, you trained them, you taught them everything. They left you, they went across the street and they started competing with you. What if you could train and develop people inside of a business, and those people you would get credit for forever, no matter what they did around the world when it came to sales? Would that be interesting? Because you already learned how to do it. What if it could be in multiple states or regions? What if it could be in multiple countries without you having to go there? So you see what? No matter what they say, if I say, you ever started your own business? This is why it's my favorite. This is my magical question. Because it lets me know if they have any entrepreneurial spirit at all. If they don't, why? What are they afraid of? If they do, what's been the problems or what's been the opportunities? And no matter what they say, I've got a solution. So think about this as a little bit of a magic bullet. One is, where do you live? Oh my God, you're not going to believe this. And tell your story and lead to an introduction. 2, have you ever started your own business? Out of curiosity, after you've built some rapport, have you ever started your own business? And whatever they say, you've got a path that you could go down. Another one, I'll give you some others. Let's say somebody drops something into a comment. They say, you know what, I'd love to put my kids in that fancy school, but I just can't afford it. Where are you going on vacation this year? You know, we're having a staycation because vacation's expensive and, you know, we're tightening our belt right now. We're trying to get rid of these student loans. File all that stuff away, because then when you said you're trying to get rid of those student loans, were you serious about really getting rid of them quick? Or were you just kidding around? No, I was serious. I know I haven't talked about this, but I might have a way for you to be able to do it faster than you're currently doing it. It'll take a little bit of effort, and it might not be a fit for you, but I'd like you to at least understand what it's about, because I've helped, or my company has helped, lots of people get rid of their credit card debt. Lots of people pay down their mortgages. Lots of people get rid of their car note. Lots of people to be able to pay down their student loans. Lots of people to be able to have a little bit more breathing room in their lifestyle. And if breathing room is important to you, I might have a solution. If you're open to like a non-traditional answer, a non-traditional approach. That's a little pro tip. I like throwing non-traditional in because people will always agree that they're open to non-traditional. But if you talk to them about network marketing and you haven't said that, they'll go, oh, this is non-traditional. I don't know if I can even get my head around this. I would never normally consider it. So, non-traditional, you open to non-traditional? Or are you just like a buttoned up, do it exactly the way you're told type of person? No, non-traditional is fine. Okay, cool. Let's talk about it. So, were you serious? You're just kidding around. You wanted to get your kids in different schools? Serious? You're just kidding around. Wanted to get that different car? Serious? You're just kidding around. Oh, I was serious. Let me tell you my story. Let me invite you to check out a tool. Learn more. Okay? Easy. One that I like to do, pretty direct. You have a minute? After you've been in conversation, you have a minute? I got a serious question for you. You know, one of my favorites, and you can only use this after you've had rapport. You built rapport. And here's the question. So you're an accountant, huh? Or you're a plumber, or you're a personal assistant, or you're a personal trainer, or whatever it is. Here's my question. You know, you sell cars. Is this it? I'm just curious, and I'm not judging. Is this it? Is this the career you're going to do for the rest of your life until you retire? Is this the dream? Are you doing this just in the meantime until something cool comes along? Or is this it? You're just going to lock in here. No judgment if you're locked in. Okay, if you're locked in and you're happy, I want you to be happy. So if you've built rapport, I love that question. Even if they're number one, they're top real estate, top insurance, they're top this, they're top that. This is the whole game. Are you still waiting for Steven Spielberg to tap you on the shoulder and discover you? Or is this it? Is this all this is what you're gonna do? I learned this in the mall, walking around. Because I hated walking around in the mall when I did it. But the one question that I used that worked, if I go talk to somebody in the shoe store, I just say, can I ask you privately, is this it? Foot Locker? Or is this just temporary? Is this just for now until you find the thing? Whatever that thing is. No, this is just temporary. Okay, well, what's the plan to find the thing? I don't really have a plan. Well, that's probably not a good plan. Here, can I give you a piece of advice? And you could take it or leave it. The piece of advice is start the search today. Search now. And don't stop searching. Don't stop looking. Don't stop learning. Go online and start searching today. Don't let Foot Locker or whatever it is that you're doing soak up all of your mental energy so you stop looking. Keep searching. Ask questions. Look for things that you could do. Look for things that could be the thing. I got lucky. I found the thing at age 23. So lucky. The thing that it would wait for me and I could build traction and I could do. I'm so grateful because I know people that are my age that still have not found the thing. They're still just getting by. They're still just paying the bills. They're still month to month. They're still unappreciated at a job that, is tolerating them. They're just going through the motions still. And I feel sorry for them, but I got lucky. I found the thing. You need to find the thing. Because you belong in a better place than this. This is 2% of your potential. And I don't know, and I don't mean that as disrespect. I mean that as a compliment. There's 98% of value in you that is underutilized in this current role. And if you find yourself in the right spot, be the same person in a different spot, everything can change for you. Now, I have an opportunity. It might be for you. It might not. It might be one of the things that you need to explore. One of the 20 things that you need to check out. But don't settle in a place that wasn't meant for you. Because that's what most people do. They just take a job just in the meantime. And pretty soon, 20 years has gone by. In the meantime, I don't want that to be you. If somebody gives you great service at a restaurant, pull them inside. Is this it? Is this, you're just going to be a pro here? Server? How'd you like to serve and get paid 10 times what you're getting paid right here? How'd you like to think entrepreneurially? Because you kind of have that vibe that you with the skill set you have right now, you're just being underutilized in this role. So I'm complimenting you. See, if I was saying this to you, how would you receive that message? If you were a server and I was at the restaurant and I pulled you aside and just say, look, I just got to tell you this. I look for talent all day. This is part of my job, looking for people with skills. And you're a talented person. And you're way bigger than this job. What are you doing here? Is it just in the meantime? Is it just to, something's got to, you had to do something? You couldn't find the right thing? Maybe something fell apart? What is it? Is it just, tell me. Because I have to understand that somebody this sharp is sitting in this role because it doesn't add up. I'd love to see you in a better place. I have something, it might be for you, it might not. We could talk about it. But regardless of if it's my thing, it needs to be something. Because I'd hate to come here 5 years from now and you're still here. I say this when I was in the field building all the time. Look for sharp, pull them aside, have that conversation. Look for sharp, pull them aside, have that conversation. Start a conversation with somebody I know and just say, can I tell you something? Just between us, you're worth more than you're getting paid. You're getting paid 5% of what you're worth. Why? Is it because they're giving you benefits? Is that the reason? Because you're worth more than having somebody pay you the benefits. That's the bribe they give you to walk away from your dreams. Just benefits. Oh, I got to have insurance. Is this, I mean, I'm just giving you straight stuff here, okay? This is the straight conversation. You ever started your own business? Where do you live? When you said this, were you serious? You just kidding around? Do you got a minute? I got a serious question for you. Challenging them about how valuable they actually really are. Here's another one. Have you heard the news? I love that one. In the conversation, you talk. Have you heard the news? What news? Oh my gosh, you're not going to believe this. I'm connected with a company that's helping people go into business from themselves, from their home, with all kinds of support. And those people are able to make as much as they can promote themselves. They bring value to their business. They grow as fast as they want to grow. And people all around are having freedom, choices, options, and enjoying themselves. It's the most amazing thing ever. Have you heard the news? This thing's wild, man. Like what? What company? Oh, let me send you something. It'll explain it better than I could. But I'm not going to send it to you if you're not going to watch it. If I send it to you, would you watch it? When can you see it for sure? So if I contact you after that, you've seen it for sure, right? What's the best way to contact? All right, here it is. I'll talk to you when you're done. Or text me as soon as you're done watching. Right? Limited time only. Have you heard the news? Another one is I need your help. I need your feedback. I need your opinion. I need your support. I need your wisdom. I need your guidance. I use that a lot. So if you're in conversation with people, then you go, hey, could you do me a favor? I could really use your support. Would you look at something that I'm involved with and tell me what you think about it? I got this compensation plan that's connected with my company. I don't totally understand it top to bottom. You've been an entrepreneur. Would you look at this and tell me if you think this compensation plan's fair? Would you take a look at this product and tell me if you think it works in this marketplace? Would you give me your opinion? This is the support system that the company provides. Do you think that that's an adequate support system for somebody like myself? Would you talk to somebody that's involved with me in this business and give me an opinion about something? We're getting ready to launch a new product. Can I tell you about this new product that we're getting ready to launch? And can you tell me what you think, if you think it'll work in this marketplace? Here's the product, here's the quality, here's the price point. Would you maybe sample the product for me, try it for me? If you built rapport, these are easy asks. And here's another one that I love. Hey, I know you're busy, but I've got a crazy idea. I have an intuition. I got this thing that's stuck in my brain, and since we've been talking, I can't get it out of my brain. And I might be completely off. Have you heard me say that a few times? I might be wrong. This might not be a fit. I might be completely off. This might not be for you. It's not for everybody. I love saying all those things. Because what happens when I say it might not be for you? You'll start arguing in your mind that it might. If I say this is a perfect fit for you, you're going to start arguing in your mind that it might not be a fit for you. This is just human psychology. So I always throw an out in there. I know you're busy, but I got a crazy idea. You know what the crazy idea is? I'm in this business. I'm excited about it. I'm growing it. Here's my crazy idea. You plus me adds up to a fortune. 1 + 1 adds up to 10. I think I have this intuition that if we locked arms on a project, even part-time, we could do some amazing things. And I might be completely off. You know, my intuition is that you're open. My intuition is you're ready for non-traditional. My tradition is, or my intuition is that you're willing to do, go on an adventure. You might not be. I could be off. My intuition's been off. Not a lot, but my intuition's been off before. And I'd like to share it with you, share what I'm thinking about. And I want you to feel free to just kick it back to me if it's not a fit, anytime. Fair? Fair enough? What's my job? To educate people to the point that they understand what I have. Will I accomplish my job if I use that approach? Will I accomplish my job if I use any of these approaches? I'm making a transition from conversation to what might be in their interest. I'm telling them my story. I'm complimenting. There's a lot of compliments that I threw into all of these different things. Did you hear them all? If you went through and counted how many times I complimented in just these random script concepts, it's almost constant. Subtle, small. Some of them feel like it's a jab, like you're operating at 2% of your potential. It feels like it's a jab. It's not a jab. You might have to do this for survival. It might be for noble reasons. You might be paying for your kids' formula and diapers at home right now in this moment. And that's fine and no problem, no judgment. But I don't want you to be here forever. This is a temporary thing. This is not a permanent thing based upon who you are. Other people might not see what you are, but I see what you are. You're a giant. You're not in this spot. Who told you that this was your spot? It's okay for them to tell you. It's another thing for you to believe them. It's not true. So, with all of this, then what we're going to do is we're going to make an introduction to a third party. Okay? We're going to introduce why third party. It reduces pressure on you, puts it on the third party. And what's the third party? Step. Stories, tools, events, people. So third party reduces pressure. It builds trust. I've got this thing and it's not just my opinion. Check it out. It transfers belief. Once you build trust, that's like a bridge. Belief can go over that bridge now. Let the information do the heavy lifting. Let the third party do the heavy lifting. You just make the connection. The connection came from personal conversation, which you've been in. This conversation thing that we've been talking about over these last 40 minutes. Right? And I want you to internalize this. And I'm doing this almost as role play, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And if I did it again, it would sound different. Because it's not a specific script. It's a theme. The theme is, I believe in you. The theme is, I think you could be entrepreneurial. The theme is, you're being undervalued in the marketplace. Your theme is, I have an intuition about you and about what we could do together. Those are the themes. And from those themes, I can embellish however I want to and however I normally do it with the words that I would use. I gave you the words that I would use. But don't worry about those words. They don't need to be specific. Right? Once you get the themes, and then you can say, let me tell you my story, and let me introduce you to some sort of third-party resource to be able to do the heavy lifting. So in stories again, in your story, it's your background, what you didn't like, the solution that you found, and how you feel about the future. That's going to be your calling card. That's going to open the door. You know, you have conversation, transition, story. Write that in that order. Conversation, transition, story, your story. Start with your story whenever it's appropriate. Sometimes it's somebody else's story, but your story works most of the time. In addition to your story, I want you to think about and collect other stories. How many stories can you collect that would be a bridge, right? You got conversation, transition, story. Your stories, somebody else's story. Could you tell a story about your prospect's background? Can you tell a story about somebody who was in the exact same position? Can you tell a story about somebody who had this exact same circumstance? Sure you can, for sure. If you're paying attention, tell that story. You can tell a few stories fast. Doesn't take long to tell a few stories. Then you're going to make an invitation to introduce to another person, introduce to a tool, invite to an event, those types of things, or tell more stories. Either one of those, any one of those things. So you got stories, tools, events, and people. And that's the exposure. Okay? So, follow again. Conversation to what? Transition to what? Story to what? Exposure. Just consider it an exposure. Right? Because it's going to take different forms. Something that gives facts. Something that provides information. Something that will start to educate that person. Okay? And will a person make a business decision typically after one exposure? Not typically. It's going to be multiple exposures. Multiple exposures. It's like, and we'll get into, you know, the flow of this certification. We're talking about this process in this module, but we're going to talk also about follow-up questions and objections. We're going to talk about closing questions, how to help a person make a decision. Okay? In real life, you're going to see a cycle that looks something like this. Conversation, and then what? Transition, and then what? Story, and then what? Exposure, and then now it could go various different ways. It could be question, right? You got to answer that question and then go to the next exposure. It could be objection. Answer that objection, go to the next exposure. See what I mean? It could be anything that's not a yes. It could be a trial close. You start asking some questions. So after exposure, you go to trial close. And you start asking some closing questions. If it's a no, or if it's a not yet, or questions and objections show up in the trial close, you go to answer the objection or answer the question. And then what? Next exposure. And after the next exposure, you're going to trial close again. And if it's not a yes then it's questions and objections or another exposure. Trial close again. This is what it looks like in real life. Then there's going to be questions and objections leading to the next exposure, and then trial close again. And on average, it's going to take 4 to 6 exposures with stuff in between before a person's ready to make a business building decision. So do you understand the flow of this? Is this making sense to you? Raise your hand if it's making sense to you. Okay? It's a little bit more structured maybe than what you're used to, but that's what I want the certification to be about. This piece of it is conversation leading to transition, leading to story, leading to exposure. Okay? We'll keep it there for this one, and I wanted you to see the rest, and we'll map the rest out in future lessons, okay? So you understand? You good? All right, let's go to the next lesson. Okay, that was a long one, but an important one, right? How we doing? It's now 3:16. All right, everybody stand up. 10 jumping jacks. Ready, set, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. 25 push-ups. Just kidding. Why don't we do this? Because we're going to kind of sprint to the end. Let's take a 5-minute break because I know that was a long section. 5-minute break, everybody knows is going to be 15 minutes or 13 minutes. Can we be back in 13 minutes? 13 minutes. Let's be back at 3:30 exactly. Okay? 3:30 exactly. Come on back and we'll continue.